Hi guys, Andy P back with another video. Apologise for it being a little bit late. It's it's the 13th now, so it's virtually mid-month, and you know, I like to do a bit of a monthly roundup, but I'm a little bit late doing it, so apologies for that. If you've been waiting to see my pretty little face. Anyway, I took last week off. That's the main reason why the video's late. We went, me and the wife went a couple of weekends ago, went up to some good friends of ours who live in Stockton, up in the northeast. We went on an all-day sesh, basically, in a little village called Yarm, if you know it. Loads of pubs, really big, long beer gardens as well. So we we did an all-day sesh. We went out at 1 o'clock and we didn't get back till 3 in the morning. But you know, great company, great weekend. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. So I came back to my toilet overflow going. I mean, just pissing through basically. So I just isolated it and thought sort that out tomorrow. So then Monday came, took the cistern off, fixed it. Wednesday got the new pipe, put that in. So that was Monday a little bit of, and if I'm honest, I was still recovering from the Saturday. But so I took the Monday off, and then Tuesday, a few years ago we did some work in our house, and we put a brand new kitchen in and put in a downstairs toilet, patio doors, all that malarkey. And because of it, our garden's been a bit of a mess. It became a bit of a dumping ground for all the stuff, and yeah, it's been a bit unloved recently. So redoing the garden, I got some free wood off my mate, thank you very much, Dave, and I built some, like a raised planter, I think. So that was Tuesday. That took me all day. It was roasting. I was absolutely knackered. My back was aching. There was muscles that I didn't even know I had was aching. Getting too old, getting way too old. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday was pretty much recovering because I was that knackered. And I mean, I was knackered. My back was so sore. So I decided to take the week off last week. I started on the 1st of July on the Friday. And then last week, I just took it off. So apologies, that's why I got a late video. But not to worry, I'm here now. So a bit of a recap on June. June has been a good month for me, really good month. I predicted it was going to be decent. I just, with how many days fell in June, working days if you know what I mean, and with having a patchy April and May, I was determined June was going to be a good month, and you know, it didn't disappoint. I got a couple of little gems in there. Work wise, I was winning work comfortably, I would say. Virtually people ringing me back within a few minutes. I went down to Bristol at one point. Now people talk to me about Bristol being alright, and every time I've been down there I've struggled getting out of it, but I got a little peachy job out of Bristol going up to Barnoldswick, which is over near Burnley way, and that will go into Rolls Royce. So I got that one back. That was a very good day, the best day of the month. So yeah, good month, really good month. I wanted to talk through a few things that I've been looking at and realised. I did a job, it's just a bit of a watch out with fuel prices and everything being as they are, and I know we keep going on about them, they have come down a little bit. As they are at the moment, you've got to maximise what you are doing and get as much profit out of every single job that you possibly can. Now obviously we know the issue is with, you know, you raise your prices too high and you're not going to win the work. There's a fine line between winning work and not winning work. Now I've risen my prices, and I've got to say it's not really affected me in regards to not getting work. So it's helping me financially. It's bringing my profit line a bit more into line rather than losing money, and I don't feel like I'm losing work with it. So on the back of that, you know, if you haven't put your prices up, don't worry too much. As long as you're not going ridiculous, then there's work there for all of us, and you can do it. You can put. I think it's got to stage that. I think when the prices first started to rise, I think everyone were a little bit wary about the impact, because of obviously how the CX works. Obviously you're bidding, so if you whack a massive price hike on it and nobody else does, then that's where your issue is going to be. You're not going to get work. But it's like everything's fallen into line. I think most people have now upped the prices, and I think shippers are understanding now that they need to pay a bit more. So I think all in all, I think that's helping. But I was doing a job and it was going from Blackburn, and it was going over to, where was it going to? Leeds. Going through over to Leeds. So I picked up this job, and this job was priced based upon the mileage that was given on the CX. Now, this is the little things about knowing your roads and where you are. And for me personally, if it's roads or motorways or routes around where I live, then there's a better chance that you're going to know where to go. And this job was taking me back down through Rosendale, down through the M66, and then back onto the M62 over towards Leeds. So the CX had come up with that route and had priced the job on that route, but I picked up and I put it into it, and I thought, there's another way to go. And for me, what I would do is I'd go to the M65 and I'd go through Skipton. So I use Google Maps. I have got a sat nav in the van, but the memory card needs updating, so it's not always that reliable. So I use Google Maps, and the beauty about Google Maps is as well that it obviously shows you, you know, where you've got road conditions and all that stuff. But it had this route on through Skipton. Yeah, Skipton. So I tapped that, and I made a fortune. And the reason why I made a fortune is because it put 10 minutes onto my journey, but it took 40 miles off my total mileage. Now obviously I'd priced it at a price that was on the CX, so the fact that I got a job that took 40 miles off me it's absolutely no-brainer. So just one to watch out for. It took the job to a well-paid job, well, reasonably priced job, but to a really well-paid job. And as we're all trying to, you know, count the pennies at the moment, and we're trying to make as much money as we possibly can without paying for fuel, it's just one to watch for. So number one, I saved fuel because I weren't doing as many miles, and number two, I made more profit, and that's what we're all here to do. So just a word of warning, especially if you're using Google Maps, just have a look at it. Sometimes there'll be a lot. It usually shows a couple of different journeys that you can take, and it will always give you the fastest one. But especially if you know the roads in that area, it's always worth checking to see if you can do it. And you know what, for an extra 10 minutes, you know, the customers, it's not going to affect the customer that much. You know, if we're talking an hour, then that's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? That's not something you want to do, and you won't want to do it yourself anyway, because obviously you've only got so many hours in the day. If you're taking an extra hour to do a job than what you should, then you're not, well, it's just pointless, isn't it? It's pointless. So just one to watch for. Bit of advice, a little bit of a nugget that I just found. If you already know about it, fair, fantastic. Maybe I'm just slow to pick up, but if I was in the Midlands or somewhere down south that I didn't know that well, I probably wouldn't have picked up on it. But if it's local area and you know area, and let's face it, most of us know quite a big chunk of the area that we live in, then it's one worth looking at. Good luck with that. Keep an eye on it. Let me know how you do, because like I said, 40 mile saving for me for an extra 10 minutes, absolute no-brainer. I wanted to talk to you about, I've actually wrote a couple of things down this time, because there are a few things through the month that came up which I thought, that's interesting, that's something we can talk about. First one is, well, the next one is feedback. So I did a job up to Lancaster, and as we all know, it's the kind of area that you don't really get a lot back from. So I was on the way back, and as I'm travelling back down, a job popped up from Preston to Liverpool. So I pulled into Lancaster Services and bidded on the job, and within 5-10 minutes I got a phone call. Shipper, absolutely, and I'll talk to you about the shipper as well afterwards, with something else that happened with the shipper, but shipper, absolute top bloke. And he rung me up and he said to me, he said, oh yeah, you're still okay to that job? I said, yeah, not a problem. He said, no worries, I'll pop it through for you. He said, to be honest, I've just been waiting for someone decent. I went, all right, what do you mean by that? He said, well, he said, you weren't the cheapest. He said, I've had cheaper. He said, but he said, you want to see some of these drivers? So I said, all right. And he said there was one guy who was must have been relatively new to it. He had 20 feedback. And out of the 20 feedback, he had 4 complaints. 4 complaints. Now, listen, I don't want to sound awful or big-headed or anything. I've got really good feedback. I've never, touched wood, had bad feedback. I always try and give the best service I possibly can. Always try and be there on time. If there's an issue, I ring the shipper, let them know that there's something going on. But 4 feedback out of 20 jobs feels bad. Just goes to show that some shippers, and I know probably not all of them, do look at the feedback, and all they're interested in is somebody really, really good to do a job for them. So, you know, thank you to that guy. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Keep your feedback good, guys. Wanted to ask you a question, because last month I had the strangest place that I've delivered to, and also the strangest thing that I've delivered, picked up and delivered. So I thought I'd ask you guys, what is the strangest, or where is the strangest place that you've delivered to? And what's the strangest thing you delivered? And let's see if you can top this. So, last month I was in the Midlands and I was after a job back towards Manchester way. And a job came up, I think it was somewhere like Telford, around Dudley, that kind of area. And it was going to Buxton. Now, any of you know Buxton, it's one of those places a little bit out of the way. Don't really get a lot of work from it, but it was getting me a lot closer to home than I needed to be. Than I was. So I got it, won the job. Went to pick it up. It was a short wheelbase van. Got the money that I wanted for it. Got there, and it was a stand for displaying clothes. But not like a traditional rail. It was like the swirly ones, you know, like you used to get like in the 80s in all the department stores, that kind of thing. And I got there and the lady said, you know what, it comes in 2. I said, I didn't even realise. So the van was too big really for what she wanted, but you know, doesn't bother me. I've got paid well for it, got short wheel base money for it, fine with that. So the information on this job was quite specific. You know, it did tell me what I needed to do, and it was going to a stall. Now at this point I didn't understand what this was. It was going to a stall in an event, and it was actually for tarmac. But it was really detailed, 3rd row on the right hand side across from the food hall, so it had quite a bit of information on. So I thought, yeah, no worries. And I went to go and pick it up, and this lady, she said to me exactly the same. She went, you know, this is what it's going for, you know, it's for tarmac, blah blah blah. And they said if for any reason that there's nobody there, just take a picture of it. Just take a picture of it as proof as delivery. Fine with that, not a problem. Cool. So sets off, gets up there, goes over to Buxton, and when I pulls up, there's marshals, there's stewards, there's people directing traffic, there's a one-way system, there's a road closed off, and I'm thinking, oh my god, what's going on here? And what it was a massive, like, I don't know what they call it, like events, you know, like almost like a fair, but not a fair, like an event for an industry. And this event was actually the quarry. So I pulls up and I'm speaking to this guy, and to be honest, the stewards were very, very unhelpful. I goes up this windy road, there's loads of cars. I pass a field and it's got 12 helicopters on it. So these are obviously big bosses that have flown in for this event. And there's loads of people, I mean loads of people at this event. So I gets up to the main bit, speaks to this guy, listen, I've got this to deliver, blah, 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 blah. Right, yeah, no worries, off you go. So there was this tent. I went to this tent, this bloody stand, half in each hand. And I goes in and went to the information desk, and they said, oh, yeah, that's down the bottom. Right, okay. Didn't have a clue. So I gets back in the van, drove around for a bit, couldn't find it. Came back to where we were, spoke to a guy, said, listen, I need some help. I need to deliver this to the stand, blah, blah, blah. Sent me to a porter cabin, went and spoke to the guy. He went, oh, yeah, they're one of our partners. He said, I'll have to give you a lift down. Now, at this point, I didn't realise it was quarry. But this whole fair thing was in the quarry. This tent that I'd been in was at the top of the quarry. So I gets the stand, he loads me up into a buggy, like an off-road buggy thing, seatbelt on, malarkey, and off we go. Went down into this quarry, and this event was amazing. They had all these stalls set in the quarry. Anyone that's into like big boys toys and machinery, they had massive bits of like quarrying equipment, mining equipment, whatever it is, all that set up, all for people to look at, and different events going on. They had clothing there, they had rigging people there. It was amazing. Like I said, anyone that's into big boys toys and mechanical stuff would have absolutely loved it. I did take a couple of photographs, so I'll put them on for you now. So yeah, there you go. So where's the strangest place I mean, a quarry. I mean, I know there's an event going on, but it was hard work. It was it was an easy job that was hard work. That's the best way to describe it. But yeah. So that brings me on to the shipper that I mentioned before, and this job that I did from Preston to Liverpool. So I get this job. This shipper was brilliant, and he said to me, he said, listen, it's going from Preston Royal Hospital and it's going down to Liverpool. He said, give me a ring when you get there. He said, it's one of those, and you guys will realise if you've ever done a hospital, you just never quite know where you're going. Am I going to reception? Am I going to a certain ward? Am I going round to the maintenance place? Am I going round to wherever? You never know. He said it's one of those, when you've done it a few times, you know where you're going. So I got there, rings him up on the old Bluetooth, and he directed me round, said, yeah, no worries, found it, fantastic, brilliant, no worries. So I had to go into a ward, so I got buzzed into this ward. And I said, I'm here to collect something going down to Liverpool. Oh yeah, no worries. So one of the nurses, she jumps up from behind the desk and she says, I'll go and get it for you. Off she goes. The other nurse, she went, you've come for the eyes. I went, pardon? This nurse then comes out with this cool bag, and I was basically transferring eyes from Preston Royal Hospital down to it was the National Transplant Centre in Liverpool, and it was a cool bag, and it was it had a big note on it saying do not open, temperature controlled, blah 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 blah. So yeah, that is up to now the strangest thing I have picked up and delivered. What I will mention is, sadly, obviously someone's passed away to donate their eyes. Respect to them. But yeah, I transported eyes in a cool bag. What's the strangest thing you guys have transported? I don't think I'll ever top it, I'll be honest with you. Unless I end up with a corpse or something that I don't know. I don't know. Right, that's me for the month. Again, apologies a little bit late. What do you think of the jingle, by the way? The little graphic I did? I thought, you know what? If Big Beardy's got one, if Neptune's got one, I want one. So I made my own. So there you go, a little intro for you. Shout out to the usual suspects. Tall man, not so small van. Maybe a new word, mate. You know, now you've got a slightly bigger van. Small van. Small man. Tall man, not so small van. You can have it if you want it. Neptune, been watching a lot of your videos recently, buddy. I did drop you a message with a van the other week, and you kindly messaged me back, so good on to you, my friend. And also welcome to is it Anvil Logistics? So new guy who's been doing a few videos, doesn't actually live far from me. He's literally what, a mile away from me in Brighton. So I have said to him, I've dropped him a message, if you want to, you know, hook up and have a coffee or something, then we can organise that, seeing as we're so close together. Yeah. So that's it. That's really, I'm probably just witching on a little bit now. Yeah, apologies, late video. Like I said, I took a week off. Why not? I'm not due off now till October. I'll go on a cruise for the wife's significant birthday. I'll probably have an odd day off here and there, but you know, I'm looking to work through the summer, because presumably there's going to be a few drivers off, so as they go on holidays and things now, the kids start to break up in the next few weeks. So my plan is to hammer the summer really and just work through. That's it. Listen, I'll let you go. Fantastic to speak to you again. Please like, subscribe, all of them are like that you usually do. Take care, everyone. Oh, just before I do go, extreme heat warning. So Sunday, Monday, and it's now been extended to Tuesday, I believe. Listen, I was sweating my nuts off last week in the van. Not last week, the week before. Oh, it was unbearable. And I find you can stay cool, but then as soon as you get out of the van to do a drop, then you're sweaty, and then you just can't, I don't know, you just can't get yourself right. But take care. You know, I've had 2 bottles of pop water today, and you know what, I've not even had to stop to go to the loo. Must be just absorbing it. But stay hydrated, look after yourself, guys, and remember, if you're not feeling well or anything, pull over, do the sensible thing, take some time to do what you need to do. It's very, very warm, very warm. Right, definitely it now. Thank you to everyone subscribing. Keep on liking the videos. I've always said before, I'll try and keep it to a month so I don't blab on too much, cover a few things. Please put any comments down on the strangest places you've delivered to and the strangest thing you've delivered, and let me know how you're going with that mileage things. Other than that, good luck, guys. Have good time through the summer if you're going on holiday and make plenty of money. Ta-ra.